Alright guys, girls, welcome back then. Ask FJP, where I get to answer all your questions about military flying, specifically fast jet flying, flying in the Royal Air Force, that kind of thing. So what I've done is I've gone back through all the last 5 of the comment sections on YouTube, and I've dug out all the questions I haven't answered, because I'm a hero like that. And so we're going to go through all those things now, and I've got literally about 20 questions. So I'll go through them, and if after 10 minutes I've answered 5, well, that's brilliant. We'll get another 3 posts out of it. Else we'll just try and cover as much as we can, maybe with some short answers or maybe some long answers, depending. All right? So let's have a look then. What kind of questions are we going to answer today? Have a look in the notes and you'll see the questions. Whatever questions answer here, I'll put them in the notes real quick for the YouTube video, okay? So you can decide whether you want to watch it, whether it's useful to you or not. All right, first question then came in from White Eagle. Awesome names on YouTube, as I'm finding. You guys have got some real funny names. He's asking, or she's asking, of course, how much holiday do you have in the Royal Air Force, and what do you all do with it? So in all 3 services, then you get a mandated 28 days leave. That includes, that's actually just work days, so bank holidays and everything you get off also, but 28 days, working days, that's a Monday to Friday. So as you can tell, just over 5 weeks, almost 6 weeks really. So really you could look at having a week's holiday every couple of months. There's a problem with this, of course, because you can't have everyone on the squadron off on the same time. That doesn't work. So you have to prioritize it. And a lot of guys have children. I don't have kids, but the guys that do have kids, I'll let them go on the kiddies holidays and stuff. I don't need that, there's no point. So they take the kiddies holidays and they go on holiday with their families, and that's absolutely fine. My wife and I, we like snowboarding, we like walking, that kind of stuff. We do some physical stuff, we are running or whatever, that kind of thing. So we'll just take long weekends, go to city breaks, twilight days, or we will literally just take a week off in the summer, or go do some walking in the Alps or the winter and just do some snowboarding or some stuff like that. So we're quite flexible really, because she works pretty hard too, so we don't mind other guys having the more popular periods of leave. That said, of course, you can't really take 2 or 3 weeks off at a time. You have to take a week off pretty much by itself. We do have a guy on the squadron big into his snowboarding, and normally he'll go to like the snowboard champs, whatever, and he'll tack a week's leave onto the back end of that. So he gets kind of like 2 weeks, like a week in the championships for snowboarding, adventure training, and then a week off some holiday, which is pretty cool. What other guys will do is, I mean, they use leave in different kind of ways. As I said, guys might take long weekends, they're quite popular, but you have to look at what the squadron's doing. If the squadron's been out in Syria for, you know, how long, I don't know, but they've been out of the country, in and out of the country for like 6 or 7 months, and then they come back, everyone wants leave, right? Everyone wants leave, so you've got to monitor that, get it turned over pretty quick. Right, that's the leave bit. What do we all do with it? Yeah, as I said, adventure sports really, I suppose, because we're idiots, but some people go and chill out on the beach, but I've never been able to do that really. I don't know what that's about. Have you tried DCS in the Hawk from Scott Hopkins? Everyone asks me this question, and it's great. Personally, I don't do simming. The only sim I play is a sim called Assetto Corsa, and it's because I like learning racetracks of the world. If you haven't seen Assetto Corsa, go and have a look at it. It's very different from Project Cars. It's very different from Forza. I don't have a console at all. I'm a PC racer. And so what I'll do is I'll go and take an MX-5 around the Nürburgring. That's the kind of sim I do, you know, that's the thing I do. And in fact, one of my podcasts was about me taking a BMW Z4 GT4 around the Nürburgring and trying to get better times on it. And I'll drop that podcast with the video of it. It's quite interesting. I'll drop that in the show notes. So I don't do simming, but I used to do simming when I was in flying training, and I used to do simming when I was trying to learn to use the radars in the Hawk T2, the radar in the Hawk T2, sorry. When I was trying to learn the radar in the Hawk T2. And for that I used a game called Falcon 4.0. It's still around, but now I think it's called Free Falcon. I think they update it. There's actually an F-16, a real fighter community of F-16 guys that keep this game going on by micro pros, I believe, back in the day. And that's a pretty cool sim. The graphics aren't that brilliant, but the way everything handles is really cool. I like what you can do with it. But no, I haven't done DCS, and I'm just trying to think now, because I'm not in the... I don't know whether DCS is a sim in itself, or whether it's part of like Microsoft Flight Simulator. If someone wants to drop me in the comments there and just let me know, and really, you know, what do? I don't mind doing a review of it. I'm happy to review a Hawk T1 or a Hawk T2, but I don't know what I'm reviewing. Am I downloading Microsoft Flight Sim? Am I adding an add-on to it? Is this a Just Flight aircraft or something? I don't know. I flew a Just Flight one before and I wasn't overly impressed, but this was going back a few years, so I'd have to have a look at it and really work it out. What I tend to find with these sims, the aircraft are too slippery. They don't never slow down, you know, and that's not realistic. You can slow an aircraft down just by pulling to the buffet and you'll shed a load of speed. So cool, right, what else now? So yeah, let me know in the show notes and I'll have a look at it for you. What did I take in college, or what does people ask me, what should I do in college for my A-levels? And the best piece of advice I can give you here is do what you want to do. The same with fitness. People say, what's the best fitness to do? Do the fitness you're gonna do. It doesn't matter whether it's running or playing in the gym, football, whatever it might be, lifting weights. It's whatever you want to do is the best thing. In the same way, whatever you want to study at college is what to study at college. Don't think you've got to go and get your maths and physics and stuff like that, you know? I mean, you can rock up to the AIB or OASC and you can rock up with an A-level in Latin and stuff, and as long as you can justify why you've done that, they're actually really good with it. They really are. It will be easier, I might say, if you were to do something like physics, maybe at A-level, or something along those lines, chemistry, something like that maybe. So you've got a bit of an idea. Flying is a lot about the maths. We can teach you a lot about the maths as you come through the service. It might help to have one of those technical qualifications in your A-levels. I did maths, physics and history. I really enjoyed the history. The maths and the physics, I enjoyed the physics a bit actually, I must admit, but the maths wasn't applied maths, it was very pure, and I didn't really enjoy that at all. I also hung out with a kind of bad group back then in my A-levels. I was trying to figure out, you know, who you are. It's a difficult time in your life. I didn't do very well, and I failed them all. And we'll talk about that in another post, how you fail your A-levels, and then you end up flying military fast jets, okay? And I'll do a dedicated post on my education later on. So take what you think you want to take. But also remember that it might be easier to do the degree subject that you choose, if you want to do a degree, that is, if you've got a background in that, of course, that makes sense. So if you want to go and do a maths degree, you're probably going to need a maths A-level. Good. Right, next question then, follows on quite well. Should I join now or should I go to university? This came from a guy who's at college right now in his sixth form. I would say to anyone, give it a go now, put the application in, give it a go, and see what happens. Now, back in 2014 to 2015, there were 1,700 people that applied to join the Royal Air Force as a pilot. Out of those, 800, so just under half, got invited to the Officer Aircrew Selection Centre at Cranwell. I don't know how many of those got in. I can't find those stats right now, but what I'm saying is if you apply to join the Royal Air Force as a pilot, you've got 50% chance of getting to the Officer Aircrew Selection Centre, which has got to be pretty cool. Right, what are we saying then? So put an application in now. If you really want to join as a pilot, just put an application in. I mean, you might get, you know, you get looked at favourably anyway for putting one in now, and then by all means you can put one in a bit later after university if you're not successful. I think that's the best way to do it. That's what I did. That's what I did. I don't think university is for everyone, by the way. I really don't. You've got 50% of people going to university now. Really? So 50% of all you guys are going to get degrees. Does that make the degree more or less valuable? I don't know. It's great though, 3 years worth of learning experience at university. It's not just about the education, of course, it's about learning about life, living by yourself, you know, speaking to girls and boys, that kind of stuff. Good. Right, let's have a look. How much does the Air Training Corps help in selection training? That came from Rob Simmons. Thanks, Rob, appreciate it, great question. So I gave a talk recently at an Air Training Corps unit. I'm a big fan of the Air Training Corps. I was in the Air Training Corps myself for about 6 years. All I would say is, if you're looking to join an aviation-based profession, it probably does you some good at interview to say that you showed an interest in an aviation-based profession before. I do have pilots that have literally turned up with no interest whatsoever in the Air Training Corps or anything like that, and they have got into the Royal Air Force. Most definitely, don't get me wrong, that does happen. The guys that are probably more successful are the ones that have some interest in it and have shown some, maybe some aptitude, maybe some dedication. Duke of Edinburgh Reward Scheme looked on very favourably. Air Training Corps, CCF, that kind of stuff, shows that you want to get involved. That's all I will say. In training, in service, yes, we'll probably train you very, very much quicker than anything you'd have received in the Air Training Corps, but it most definitely does help you to get in the service and gives you a really good background as well, a really good background in just aviation-y stuff, which is always good. Cool. What were my own qualifications pre-entry by Emmett McCowan? I think we might actually do a post on that because I didn't exactly shine myself in glory when I applied to these services, and to be honest, yeah, I could have done a lot better at school, a lot better. So let's do another post on how not to mess up your education and then struggle through the first few times you try and get into the service. Roger, what else are we going to do then? Let's go for another one. Okay, so Joe said he missed his aptitude score by 6 points. Should he go back? Yeah, go back. What are you doing? Of course you go back. Don't be an idiot. You will improve just by doing it once. You improve. Your brain will assimilate that stuff and you'll get better. Go and do some of those online tests, Joe. Seriously, go back and you'll be a ninja at it this time. I guarantee it. All right. Definitely go back, dude. What's up? Definitely go back. Right. Next question then from Ross Gray. What do you think of the RPAS guys? That's remotely piloted air systems. I'm a big fan of those guys. A lot of my guys do the tours on jets and then decide to go RPAS, go and fly out of Waddington. Initially it was out in Vegas they were flying, at Nellis I believe. So yeah, a lot of time for the RPAS guys. It's a pretty hard job actually, very kinetic in a very different way. A lot of kinetic, which means targeting, a lot of dropping munitions. And then you don't really have, because you're not really in theatre, you're in the UK doing this stuff, so they have a lot of sort of counselling that they have available, but the guys compartmentalize it like heroes because they're ninjas, right? So but yeah, really interesting job, and you can join direct now as an RPAS guy, and I think that's brilliant. There's some, and also now here's the thing, all right, because I want to buy a drone, so I need some advice on drone buying, and I better phone one of those guys up because obviously they know exactly what they're talking about, right? So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so if you can give me some advice on what drone to buy, someone. But I would say RPAS most definitely, that's really interesting, and I would have a look online about it. It is the future, most definitely it's the future. It really is. I think the F-35 is probably going to be the last manned platform that we probably have in the service in the fighter community, definitely. So well worth having a look at RPAS. Should we do one more question? And then I better build this in. It's 12 minutes. Let's do one more then, shall we? Let's go for, do I talk about SAM avoidance and how we avoid surface-to-air missile systems? That's probably better for another post. Okay, one from Hallie then. How do I prepare for interview and aptitude tests? That's a pretty good question, I guess. Yeah, why not? Now, I would say go to the student rooms online. Now, I don't know this website too well, but I always send people here. There's some good advice on there, actually. I believe it's called thestudentrooms.co.uk, but I would, if you type in pilot, RAF, the student rooms, there's a lot of stuff on there about going to OASC, going in and what you should be doing, what you should be looking out for. Guys come back with a history of what they've done at OASC, and have I missed my exit? I don't know. They come back and they talk about their experiences, and that is invaluable to find out what you're going to be facing before you're facing it. So I would say go and have a look at the student rooms online. The student rooms, RAF pilot, Google that. Have a read of that, it's pretty cool. Another website, pprune, maybe I wouldn't look on there or post on there. That's PPRUNE. Tends to be a lot of old and bolds on there, and there is a bit at the top though, under the military section. Click on the military, and at the top it says OASC, read here first. Go and read that, there's some interesting stuff in there as well. It just lets you know what you might be expecting. That at the moment is probably going to be alright. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll finish this one now. I'll post this one up as AskFJP006, and I'll do another one in a minute when I'm off this motorway. I'll answer the rest of these questions. Ninjas, alright? Awesome. Thanks so much, Tim Davies. I'll do it again because I'm trying to work out how to finish it. Awesome. Ninjas. Tim Davies.